But the most important thing as a realtor, if you really understand your client and where they're coming from, you're going to make sales faster, easier, right?
I'm Maud Leger, and this is the Realtors Conspiracy Podcast, where we crack the code to real estate success. Learn from top realtors, entrepreneurs, and innovators about how to grow your business as we discuss real estate success stories, mindset, processes, motivations, and the key to their success. Check out our podcast episodes every Monday to crack the code to success for your real estate business. Welcome to part 2 of our special mini-series with Tree, our human behavior expert. This series is all about helping realtors learn about themselves and learn how to deal with their clients and aligning their strengths to grow their business. This week, Tree is teaching realtors how to read their clients better to reach their ultimate goal, which is win more listings and get more sales. Let's get to my chat with Tree. Hi Tree, thanks for joining us again on the episode. We started last week our mini-series. We're going to do 3 episodes to help realtors really grow their business, learning about themselves and how they can interact with people. So today you wanted to talk to us about how to read your clients better. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, awesome. Well, again, thanks for having me. This is exciting. And I think it's amazing that people are wanting to learn and grow and to really have a different awareness of the people that they're interacting with, especially as realtors, right? Because they're interacting with their client on somewhat almost like an intimate basis, because they're bringing them into a home where they're potentially going to live for the rest of their life, right? So they need to know a lot about who these people are. Okay, um, so us as human beings, there's 6 different things, okay, that we are trying to prove, and we're generally 2, maybe a sprinkling of a third one, okay, and these are what us as human beings, what we're trying to prove, okay, and these 6 things are, okay, we're trying to prove that we're free. Okay, so I'll tell you some pros and cons. So a lot of the realtors fit into this category, trying to prove that they're
Yeah.
free. Yeah, exactly. So they're freedom-based people, they're entrepreneurs, which that's what realtors are. They could be salespeople, also what realtors are, right? And but the pros is that, you know, they're quite flexible. They can kind of roll with things. They sort of fly by the seat of their pants, right? So a pro is that it's kind of, they're fun to be around, right? A con could be that someone, if they're too free, or they're proving that they're too free, they may not settle down in life. They may travel all around the world, but never actually create a strong bond or connection with other people, because they're just trying to be too free. Okay, so the second one would be rules. Somebody that's too rules oriented. So it could be a police officer or a lawyer, or maybe even an accountant, right? That they're in structure quite a bit. So the pros is that, you know, these types of people that are in rules, they have structure, like they have accountability because the rules help them, right? But a con could be that they're stuck too much in the rules, right? So if you're a realtor and you're stuck too much in the rules, then you might have a rules conflict with your client, right? Or if you have a client that is too stuck in rules, you want to have flexibility to be okay with perhaps their rules, or maybe make light of it or joke around about it, right? So the next one is security. Okay, so most realtors are freedom. The opposite of freedom is security. So if there's some sort of something funky going on between you and your client, check in with this. Okay, so security is very much like somebody that's perhaps worked in one job for 40 or 50 years, right? With a nice cushy pension, or things like that. So something that really allows them to be secure. So the pro is, you know, they generally have their life sorted out, right? Because it makes them feel secure that all their ducks are in a row, right? And that's a good thing. For us as humans, we like to feel safe and secure, right? But if they're too secure, they might miss out on meeting a partner, right? Or they might miss out on going on vacations or having other human experiences because they're so secure that so many boxes need to be ticked in order for them to actually go have this experience, right?
Got it.
Yeah, so the next one is self-expressive. So self-expressive people, they could be artists or um, they could be expressing themselves in a certain way, right? And sometimes these are easy people to pick out or not so easy. So a self-expressive person, they might have tattoos. They might be like some realtors probably fall into this category. So they might dress in some, self-expressive way, like
Funky, funky socks, funky outfits. God.
yeah, like animal print
Yeah.
or what have you, right? So it can come out in all kinds of different ways. So the pros is like these people are interesting, and even as an artist, they bring so much value to the world, to society, culture, right? But the con could be that they could think that they people don't understand them, right? Because oh, I'm so different, you don't understand me, right? So if a realtor had a client and they're self-expressive, if the realtor's self-expressive, then that's great. Yeah, but if the realtor say is freedom and rules, then the self-expressive, and you as a realtor, you want to be like, oh wow, you're so different, awesome. Let's show you some unique homes,
That would
right?
show up in their home and then their choice of homes too. I get it.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
right? So as a realtor, as you're listening to this, be curious of like as the your client is telling you what they want in a home, they could be telling it to you from a freedom perspective, from a rules perspective, from a self-expressive perspective, right? Or a security perspective, right? So the other two is belonging, right? So belonging is really feeling like they belong. So realtors, you want to go close to that because you want to feel like your client can belong with you. Again, it's a big decision to buy a house, right? So you want that belonging to happen to some capacity. So the pros to belonging, somebody that's hugely in belonging, super easy to get along with, that you feel really comfortable with them really easily, right? A con could be they could have too many friends or do too much for too many friends or stay at a job that they shouldn't be in anymore for too long just because they belong,
Mhm.
right? So belonging. So the last one is my personal favorite, and I changed the name to it. It's actually like smarty pants. It should be competency, um, but
Smart.
it's smarty pants, I think, is a little bit more fun. And the pros to smarty pants is yeah, the person's generally smart, right? Yeah,
They know
and so
things.
they know things. So it could be formally educated, or they could just be really interested in a lot of things. Either way, right? And so, or the con could be they can come off kind of arrogant
I see. Yeah.
or a know-it-all, right?
Yeah.
And so as a realtor, if you're looking at your client and you're seeing, if they're freedom or rules or self-expressive or belonging or smarty pants or security, right? If you know this about them, and you can even kind of explore that by the houses that they're either sending to you that you want to look at, or even just through conversation, you can choose that. Like you can know what they do for a living, or what they do for hobbies, or how they're even speaking with you, right?
How they
So if
show up when they meet with you.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Hmm.
And so when you're looking at this, you can begin to speak their language. Also, too, what I want to let everybody know is that nobody wakes up in the morning and chooses this. Nobody wakes up and be like, I'm going to be security minded today, right? Like people just don't do that. It really is kind of how we were brought up, right? If you, for example, smarty pants, if you were brought up being compared to a sibling that's super smart, then you're you're going to project that in your life to
Yeah.
prove that you're smart. Or if, say, your parents were really hardcore about academics and you're proving that you're smart, right? Or belonging, if you're from a family that has a lot of belonging in it, then
Yeah.
that's your driver. Or self-expressive, right? You just love the arts, or you love being different, unique. Yeah, okay. Or maybe you were brought up that you were dressed the same as your siblings, or so you wanted to have something a little bit different to stand out.
Yes.
Okay, rules, you could have grown up with no rules. So now you create rules for yourself, and they make you feel safe and secure. And it's not intentional at all. None of this is intentional. This is just human behavior, cool stuff that I'm teaching
Yeah.
you, right? And or freedom, right? So maybe there was lots of rules when you were growing up. So as you got older, you're like, whew, I'm out of there, right?
Bring my own thing.
Yeah, and security, it could be both parents were safe or secure, or the opposite, right? Maybe someone was brought up with a freedom-minded person and just be like, okay, they need to feel safe and secure. It could be a mixed bag of all. These are really loose kind of examples, but the most important thing as a realtor, if you really understand your client and where they're coming from, you're going to make sales faster, easier, right? There's going to be less awkwardness, right? That all of us have that in any kind of business, even if you work in an office,
Yeah.
there's this different kind of funky thing that goes on when everyone's caught up in what they're trying to prove, right?
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's really true. And then I think like you said, reading your clients better will give you more sales faster. Like you actually get to have more belonging with your clients, then you get the more sales because you're really in tune to what they want. It'll be easier for you for a realtor, I guess, to find a house that matches what they're really looking forward to in security, like not an open staircase, like just these things I feel like are huge.
Well, absolutely. So for example, if say a realtor has a client and it's a husband and wife and they have one kid and one kid on the way, and say the husband's highly educated, the wife is a mom, and obviously there's some sort of rules and security in there.
Yes,
Okay,
yes,
you could totally like like so for example, you look at a woman and say in high school or university, she's like freedom, self-expressive, and belonging. All of a sudden she gets married and has kids. All of a sudden she could be the freedom's gone, right? And she's in maybe rules, security, belonging, right?
yeah,
It could also shift and change after the kids could get older or whatnot, right? Or even the dad too could get into security. So it can shift and change through life, but as a realtor, see where they're at,
yeah,
right? So really stepping aside from self and seeing where they're at and then stepping into their model of the world.
yeah. Reading your clients, maybe making a process to like have it to so you can track and say, okay, this client really belonging, they need open space, kitchen island, like to have big parties, or that client is more self-expressive, so want the cool beams and the cool kind of character home. So yeah, I think that would be a good way. Read your clients better, get more listings, get more sales, and then have it in a process.
Yeah, absolutely. And you can even do it in marketing. Like if you are a realtor and you only sell houses in a certain area, what's the common tendencies or human behavior of that area? And
Yeah,
then that's definitely how you want to do your marketing. If a realtor, so yeah, which you could totally help them out with because you know all this stuff mode, right? So for your marketing, if the realtor is marketing in their freedom and none of their clientele is freedom, that that realtor needs to market for their clientele.
for their clientele. Or if they're targeting an area, like you said, like we do a lot of farming areas, what area, what kind of people are in that area? How do you target
Yeah, if they're farming, they're belonging for sure.
them? Yeah, nice.
There's quite a community there,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So definitely a belonging community.
That
So
is so interesting, amazing, good for realtors. It's such great, great episode. Thank you.
mhm.
So last episode, we talked about people, task, processes, and places. Today, how to read your clients better, really to win more listings and get more sales. And then next week, I would like to everybody to stay tuned to check out our next episode with you. It's always so fascinating.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Maud. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks for joining. Subscribe to our podcast, Realtors Conspiracy, today. And tune in next week as we continue this mini-series with our human behavior expert.